What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So for today we're going to be installing a front lip on my 2022 Honda Accord. So I kind of messed up on filming this whole entire video. I didn't realize my mic was off, and I didn't see and realize it until I started editing these clips. So we're going to be installing this front lip, and this front lip's been sitting in my room for like a month or two now, so I'm gonna do my best to do a voiceover, and let's get into it. Alright guys, so on this clip, as you can see, the car's out in a jack stand. Now if you're wondering where the jack points are on your Honda Accord, I've made a separate video showing you where the jack points are. So right over here, this is gonna be the front lip. I went with Yofer instead of Akasaka. I was actually close on getting the Akasaka, but then I decided to stay with the Yofer, but because for me, I feel like Yofer's more sexy, in my opinion. Okay, no against about Akasaka. Okay guys, as for this one, I was showing you on how I did the layout on a 3M tape. So as for this one, I applied two types of 3M tapes on this one. So at first, I applied a adhesive promoter on the front lip itself, and on top of that I applied the weather strip that came along with the front lip as well. After doing that, I added another layer of 1/2 inch thick 3M tape to make sure the weather strip is secure, as this keeps all the water debris from getting through the front lip so it won't fall off quickly over time. And after doing that, I added another thicker 3M tape to cover the rest of the front lip, and that would stick to the front bumper. So I'm just going to clean this out, and I'm going to show you the next step. Alright, so as for this one, I'm cleaning the front bumper where the front lip's going to go. Make sure to clean this area over here. For the most part, the most important area is to clean the lower part of the front bumper. Now, if you just recently washed your car, make sure to still clean this with the rubbing alcohol, so the 3M tape will stick well on the front bumper. Since all these chemicals, products, it's not gonna make the 3M tape stick better. So it's better for you to clean it with a rubbing alcohol, and to make sure the front lip and the 3M tape sticks better. Alright, so right now we're going to be applying the adhesive promoter, and you can pick this up from Amazon. I'm going to leave the link by the description box below. As for this one, you have an option to buy the nozzle itself. If you're not really sure about yourself applying this product, I would suggest to buy the nozzle itself. But as for me, I try to do it, but I actually failed in doing this. So I decided to use a microfiber towel, since I'm more confident on doing that itself compared to using the nozzle. And on this one, I'm just like test fitting the front lip to make sure and see where I'm going to be applying the adhesive promoter to. Take note that improper use of this product may cause discoloration on your car's paint. So I highly suggest to use it with care and only apply it to the necessary area to avoid any problems. So right now what I'm doing over here is that I'm checking and testing on the fitting of the front lip, so I could estimate on how much and where exactly I could apply the adhesive promoter to, and making sure that when I'm applying this, the front lip itself is perfectly aligned to whatever I want it to. So right now I'm gonna be removing the 3M tape, and I would slowly apply it on the front bumper. After figuring out on where I'm going to be applying the adhesive promoter, I went ahead and did a final wipe down on the front bumper itself. And if you could see on the video right over here, I marked up on how high I could go with the adhesive promoter. And remember, the front lip, it goes at an angle, so I would estimate, for me, like I just estimated on where I'm going to be applying the adhesive promoter, and I just slowly applied some adhesive promoter. So right over here, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't trust myself with the nozzle tip, so I went ahead and used the microfiber towel, so at least this way I could anticipate on how much adhesive promoter I'm using. And as you can see, I'm applying and slightly damping the microfiber towel. And as you can see with that yellow painter's tape, that's my main line on how high I could go with the adhesive promoter as well. So right over here, I'm gonna be removing the cover on the 3M tape as well. But before we do that, as you can see, the hole that comes on each side of the front lip, it's gonna be typically smaller compared to the clip or tab that it comes with. So what you're gonna do is just trim this a little bit to make it bigger, and in order for the clip to fit in there to secure the middle piece later on. Before anything else, I just want to let you know that when making the hole bigger on this side pieces, make sure that you don't overdo it, because once you do, you're gonna have a problem later on where the tabs is not gonna fit. It's most likely gonna be loose. Once you're ready to install the front lip, make sure to peel one side of the 3M tape and work your way around it. And while I'm peeling it off, make sure to apply pressure to make sure everything's all set in place. Okay, so right now I'm just showing to you the final result of the side pieces, and at the same time I did the passenger side as well. And also I'm just going to show you one thing to remember. Some front lip is not perfectly fit, especially on the edges, like right where I'm holding and pointing at. Some of it, like it's not going to be perfectly fit since I dealt with it before. And another pointer for you is that after applying the side part, the side pieces of the front lip, I would highly suggest, if you do have access to a heat gun, I would apply some heat on the front lip to make sure the 3M tape is really stuck in there. Okay, so right now we're going to be installing the middle piece and where the clips are going to go. So what I'm going to do first, right before putting all the clips back in, I'm going to grab one piece of the clips or tabs, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to try it out if it fits. And now that if it's a little too small, what you're going to do is just trim it a little bit and making sure that, you know, there's enough room for the clip to go. If it's too tight, then you might have to trim it a little bit more, and if it's like too loose, if you over trim it, then yes, you're gonna have to just like deal with the screws. But it's better for you to under trim it, so that way you could actually estimate the right proportion of the hole. So right now that's what I'm doing over here, and once you figure that out, you're gonna do the other side as well. But for now we're gonna be starting off with the driver's side, and just like what I'm doing on the clip. After inserting one of the clip on one side, you're gonna find yourself, or maybe question yourself, that you might probably have done something wrong, but you did not. The middle piece itself, sometimes they're short, or at the same, well, not technically short, it's most likely gonna be short a little bit, for the most part. And what you're gonna do is just like stretch out the middle piece, and you might have to trim the other side as well, whichever you're working on, in order for the clip to fit. So it's not that hard to do this by yourself, but I would recommend having a second pair of hands to help you do this, since sometimes it gets a little complicated or too hard for one person. Okay guys, so now the front lip is in, clips are in. What we're gonna do is install 3 screws right over here where the 3 high kicks are, and as you can see, there's like gaps between the side pieces and the middle piece, so we're gonna be dealing with that later on. So right now I'm gonna be installing some screws, and I'm gonna show it to you on where places the screws are. Alright guys, so right before you start putting some screws on the front bumper, make sure that you are aligning the middle piece, and at the same time you don't want to start screwing when the middle piece is not perfectly aligned. Okay guys, so now I finished putting all the screws. So as for the high kick areas, I went ahead and grabbed my own screws, but it's up to you if you want to use the screws that was provided with the front lip. And this one is just making sure that everything is perfectly aligned, as you can see. And at the same time, I used extra 4 screws in the back to make it an extra security. And at the same time, it's up to you if you want to do this or whatnot, or just want to leave it with 3 screws. That's entirely up to you, but for me, I decided to put all of it just like that. And once you're done with it, just want to keep a tap on it, making sure everything's there, nothing's like loose. And as for the side over here, just like what I'm pointing on the clip, a lot of people tend to just like cut half of it, like halfway of the some tabs over here where you could just like bend it and use the clip on the OEM bumper. But as for me, I got lazy and then just went ahead and just used the extra screws and screwed it into the front bumper. But you don't have to do it this way. You could completely do it yourself if you want to cut it halfway and then align this bracket over here and use the tab. But for me, I just got lazy, just like what I mentioned, and then use a screw. And I did the same thing over here as well. And also at the same time, if you want, you could just completely cut it off and not use it at all. But as for me, I just wanted extra security, which I did it with my 2019 as well. And I'm completely fine with it with a screw, since I don't really see it since it's under the carriage. And as for this one, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap and it really bothers me, and the clip doesn't really help much with it, so I'm going to be adding some screws with it. Alright guys, so now I installed the screws on the side pieces. I'm just going to show it to you on how I placed it. I know if you could notice there's a little bit of a gap, but this is how I installed the screws, and it helps a lot. And at the same time, if you want, you could add some washers or some extra bolts to make the screws a lot tighter. But for me, this is actually a better compared to the fitment earlier prior to like adding the screws. And you could excuse the scratch on the front bumper. That was part of the accident that I had before, but we're gonna get that fixed. So that's pretty much it guys. That's the final look of the Yofer installation. I hope you find this video very informative and helpful. If you guys need some questions or need to ask some questions, you could DM me on my Instagram or drop them by the comment section below. And look at this, it looks so perfect, it looks so sexy. I forgot how this car looks so nice with the front lip on. But anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to your boys if you haven't. Let's get into 2,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.